Everybody in this room has this unique opportunity to live out your dream. And the journey that we're about to go on is going to be a hard journey. We're going to be challenged at every turn. The expectations are going to be high. The standards are going to be high. The accountability is going to be high. I make a pledge to you. Our staff makes a pledge to you. Make a pledge to yourself and to each other. We'll hold ourselves and each other accountable to those standards.
It's time for another edition of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy inside the Academy Sports and Outdoors studios here at the Star. I'm Bill Jones alongside Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett after a big win over the Washington Redskins last week. Now the 6-2 Kansas City Chiefs come to AT&T Stadium. Much to get to over the course of the next half hour. Jason, let's talk about your running back situation right off the top there, because it's been a position that's been well fortified since day one with Darren McFadden, Alfred Morris, and the inexperienced yet versatile Rod Smith. You feel pretty good about the running back situation considering Zeke's situation?
You know, we do. We have a lot of confidence in each of those guys you mentioned. Obviously, Alfred Morris has been a very productive back in this league. I think he's had 3,000-yard seasons, rushed for 1,500 yards. You know, with the Redskins, we got him here for a reason, and he hasn't taken that many snaps for us. But whenever he gets a chance to play, he's very productive. And Darren McFadden the same way. Hasn't played a lot lately. A couple years ago had 1,000 yards. And I think everybody feels great about Rod Smith as well. He's been a special teams player for us, but he can go in on offense and do a lot of different things for us.
The run game, you've been persistent in it. In last week's game against Washington, especially in those weather conditions, one moment in particular, late in the first quarter, you're facing 4th and 1 at the 48-yard line. Went for it, got it. I think you're 6 for 6 on 4th downs now this year. It's a big coaching decision at that point. You seem resolute on the sideline that, yes, of course we're going for it here.
Yeah, just very confident in those guys up front to win the line of scrimmage and obviously handing the ball to a running back like Zeke Elliott. You know, we have a lot of confidence in him to be able to make that yard. And that doesn't mean we're going to go for every 4th down. That's not what we're going to do. But, you know, we feel good about the guys that we have, really independent of who we're going against. You know, we like those matchups up front. We can control the line of scrimmage and give our runners a chance to go make that 1st down. And they've been backing us up all year long. And
then late second quarter in that game, you're down 13-7. Tyrone Crawford gets the blocked field goal, named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. He not only made that play to end the first half, but the first series of the second half gets the strip sack. Isn't it amazing how key the end of the first half, beginning of the second half can be in winning a game?
Yeah, and if you think about that play, the blocked field goal, I mean, it really changed the game. You know, at that point, it's 13-7. They've driven the ball. You know, we've had a hard time maintaining rhythm on offense because we're getting a lot of penalties called against us. So we were kind of digging out for a lot of the first half. But, you know, that play, after they had some momentum, really changed the momentum of the game. And he makes a great block. And then obviously Orlando makes a tremendous return for us. You know, he scoops it up, has awareness of where they are, where he should go, reverses field. And then if you saw that, it was a great convoy that's set up. So many different guys got involved to block for Orlando to make that big return. We get the ball on the 2-yard line going in. We cash it in, and the whole game changed. But then what you said is exactly right. You got to come out in the second half, and you got to build on it. And, you know, the sack fumble and the recovery by Tank Lawrence was a huge play in the game, gave us great field position, and then we're on our way.
And aside from the fumble return, Orlando Scandrick really looked like he played a good game.
Yeah, certainly his best game of the year. Very active, was around the ball a lot, made a number of tackles for loss, and you know, just played with a great spirit and a great physicalness that showed up and really pervaded our defense.
All right, we're just getting started here on the Jason Garrett Show. Much to get to about these Kansas City Chiefs coming up, but up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Ford is the best in Texas. The Salvation Army, doing the most good. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Reliant, an NRG company. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
The Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy, continues now in the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios with David Moore of the Dallas Morning News. You can find his fine work online at sportsdaydfw.com.
You sound so excited every week. I know you're not, but thank you for that.
I'm very excited, and I still receive that newspaper.
That excites me. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the running back situation for the Cowboys. How fortified are they at that running back position?
Well, they've carried 4 running backs on the roster all season for a reason. Forced to go to that, it's going to be interesting if you have a committee approach more than what they've had, because everyone's had a very delineated, very structured, this is your role, this is what we want from you. That's a very good chance it's going to change here going forward. And now when you do it by committee, rather than having one single individual take most of the snaps and the carries, I think it alters the play calling. You're still going to remain true to what your identity is. You're still going to be a run-first team, so you still have to be effective on the ground. What changes is, okay, do you go with a hot hand? You may have an idea going into a game, but that changes as the game goes along, and maybe we're going to use this back more than we thought we were going to use Alfred Morris or Darren McFadden. And I think Rod Smith, you're going to see more of him in this upcoming stretch.
All right, Will McClay will be joining us a little bit later. How about a shout out to Will McClay, though, picking David Irving off the Kansas City practice squad?
Yeah, it just brings it to life this week. I mean, a very good Kansas City team, 6-2. Dallas was struggling in the defensive line several years ago, was identifying players that they could potentially develop. David Irving was one. They brought him in, didn't give them a lot early, but he certainly flashed. And what David Irving has done this season has been really impressive for a player who really hadn't had that much playing experience. A lot of his success in 2016 came in 19 to 25 snaps a game. It wasn't the extended play that he's getting this season. To open the season on a 4-game suspension, to come in as good a shape as he came in after being away from the team for the first month of the season, and to have an immediate impact, that speaks volumes to his discipline and his commitment and to just what level he has risen to.
All right, David Moore, we appreciate it. Speaking of pass rushers, Mickey Spagnola with a very special guest coming up, one Tyrone Crawford.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios here at the Star. Big stretch of games coming up for the Cowboys here in November. 4 out of 5 at home, starting with the Chiefs on Sunday. Mickey Spagnola has a very special guest, the team MVP this week. Mickey?
Thanks, Bill, and I am with Cowboys defensive lineman Tyrone Crawford, or should I say NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. What's up with that?
I mean, I guess there wasn't much going on around the NFC and special teams, and they gave me one for a blocked field goal.
Well, it was a pretty significant blocked field goal in the game. You kind of turned things around.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I can't take credit for. I mean, I can't take all the credit for it. I mean, I definitely got my hand on it, but Dave was there, DeMarcus was up there as well, and Kyle opened it up an extreme hole for me to do my swim and get the ball, and Orlando did the rest. He used his speed to get down to the 6th.
The Boise connection.
The Boise connection, definitely.
So what's it feel like to block one?
Literally just a huge pain going through the arm, starting in the hand. That's really what it feels like. I mean, just pop, feel that go down here.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, at least I got it,
Well, good. Yeah. And what you should have been recognized for is how you've been playing at defensive end. It looks like you've found a home on that right side at defensive end.
Yeah, man, I like rushing everywhere, no matter where it's at, but, I definitely starting to feel comfortable at defensive end on the right side. I feel better flipping my hips on that side. And then just, along with what they got a key on the rest of the D-line is helping me a great bunch too. I mean, David Irving, Malik Collins, and DeMarcus in there at the same time. It's kind of like, who do you double team, who do you chip, you know what I mean? And so it's fun playing out there with those guys, and, we just got to keep it rolling.
So you've played a bunch of the spots, probably all of them on the defensive line, and now you're on the right side. What did you think when they said, okay, we're moving you to right side, which is sort of traditionally the speed rushing type guy over there?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I was just kind of used to it at this point. I've gone through every position, like we just said, and every time they moved me, it was kind of new. But then, I got comfortable in it, and just try to do my thing. But again, you know, being part of this D-line is making it a lot easier, the transition, and you know, like I said, we just got to keep rolling.
And the sacks are coming. You've got 4 already, and the whole unit 25 and 13 in the last 3 games. What's been the secret? What's been the key?
I mean, we're just doing what we usually do. You know, Coach Marinelli's dialing it up well, along with Flus, and you know, we're just playing our style of ball. You know, we got guys humming right now. DeMarcus with half of our sacks, so it's definitely good to see them guys and Dino and Malik. Dino meaning David, and seeing those guys get their sacks and stuff like that. And you know, it's fun when everybody's eating, and you know, I'm happy for them. And just gotta keep rolling.
Now you got another tough assignment this Sunday against Kansas City. Pretty good offense going right now.
Definitely.
What do you feel like the key to this game's going to be?
You know, we just gotta be on our style. You know, play our keys. You know, and just don't get away from what we've been doing. We know our rules. We know what we need to do, and you know, we can't be tricked by the things that they're trying to do to us. We can't let them take our eyes off our keys, and you know, we just need to, you know, play our ball, and I think we will do that, and go out there and have a good game.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Bill, the Cowboys' first defensive lineman to be the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week, Tyrone Crawford.
All right, thanks, Mickey. Up next here on the Jason Garrett Show, the coach rejoins me, and we take an up-close look at this high-powered Kansas City Chiefs offense. The Jason Garrett Show continues now with Will McClay as we look behind enemy lines. A 3-headed monster on offense for the Kansas City Chiefs. Will, let's start with Tyreek Hill, who can stretch a defense.
Yeah, one of the top offenses in the league, and they're going to hit you with a bunch of things, but what they want to do is attack you deep, and they want to run the ball. We'll take a look at Tyreek Hill here. Here he is right here, and you'll see him as a blur. What they're going to see is single high defense. He's going to run a go. The receiver's going to go here. He's going to, whoops, I'm sorry, this guy's going to go here. He's going to go vertical. You're going to see speed kills right here. Take a look at it from the snap. Tyreek Hill, you see him at the bottom. He runs by, he blows the corner's hamstring, outruns the safety, deep throw, touchdown. Big plays is what we have to stop.
And he's just about the fastest player in this league. All right, they got a rookie at running back, Kareem Hunt, 3rd-round pick out of Toledo.
Yes, a unique runner. Andy wants to run the ball. They're going to hit you with different formations. They're going to hit you with motions. You're going to see Tyreek Hill, that guy again, go in motion here really fast. What it's going to do is it's going to pull this in. They're going to run the zone game. These guys are going to block this way. The defense is going to flow this way. And because he has to go there, you'll get a chance to see the vision and the cutback ability of Kareem Hunt. In stays there. He sees the crease. He comes back uphill. He runs hard, finishes runs at the second level. There's 5 extra yards there with his stature and the way he runs.
And you can see why he's leading the league in rushing. How about the big tight end, number 87, Travis Kelce?
He's in the top 10 receivers in the league. He's a hard matchup with a corner or safety. And what they're going to do is now they're going to pair Tyreek Hill, common thread here, and Kelce on the same side. What they're going to do is they've shrank the formation. They're going to use speed here to pull the safety. Now Kelce's going to go and expand, and then he's going to find that hole, and Alex is going to make a great throw. It's on 3rd down. It's how they move the chains. Here you go. You see it, Tyreek Hill. The safety's got to get out of there, expands, there's a space, and then he goes up and gets it. He's 6'5", 260 pounds, runs a 4.61.
And you can see with those weapons why Alex Smith is having such a great season.
Yes, and he takes care of the football. He hadn't thrown any interceptions this year. It's big. We've got to get turnovers.
There are not a lot of guys I respect more than Rod Marinelli, and he's got him just cutting loose and rolling and playing to his strength, which is getting up the field and going out the quarterback, reacting to the run, but speed up the field. So and he does that very well. He's got great instincts.
Our thanks, as usual, to the Vice President of Player Personnel, Will McClay, as we welcome you back here to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy, as the coach rejoins us now, where they got some weapons on that Kansas City offense now, don't they?
They sure do. It starts with the quarterback. Alex Smith is a great football player and has been for a number of years, and he's playing awfully well this year. 16 touchdowns and no interceptions, and making a ton of big plays for them with his feet and with his arm, and maybe more than anything else, he's kind of the maestro of that offense. They do a lot of different things, and you mentioned it, number 10, number 87, those guys are big-time players, and, they love to hand the ball to number 27. So those 3 guys, along with Alex Smith, they threaten you every time they break the huddle.
Pretty amazing. They've played 8 games, and as you mentioned, no interceptions. In fact, they are +10 in turnover differential. You've come along here the last couple of weeks, +5 in turnover differential. Getting to the quarterback has been something, and pressuring the quarterback has been something your defense has been able to do and getting progressively better at as the season goes along. How key is it against Alex Smith?
Well, it's critical. It's critical every week. You have to affect the opposing team's quarterback. You have to make him uncomfortable. You can't let him sit back there and just kind of work through progressions and, kind of live an easy life in the pocket. You got to make them work for it. And our guys have done a really good job of that really consistently throughout the year. DeMarcus Lawrence is off to such a great start, but David Irving and Tyrone Crawford and Malik Collins, all those guys have really shown up. They've done a good job keeping the quarterback in the pocket and making his life that much more difficult. And that's certainly what we have to do this week. Somehow, some way, we got to make number 11's life uncomfortable.
You mentioned 87, Travis Kelce. He kind of seems like the heartbeat of their team in some respects. He's a Gronk-like presence at tight end. How big of a challenge is that kind of tight end who has 3 100-yard receiving games this season?
Yeah, he too is a great football player, and he can be a mismatched player, and he has been all year long. He can run. He can get down the seam. He can run these deep over routes. But then they do so much more with him. He's a really good route runner in the short and intermediate range. They line him up as the wildcat quarterback at times. They love getting the ball in his hands, and it's easy to see why. He's awfully productive.
In Kansas City on defense, Bob Sutton defense, they bring pressure from the edge. Justin Houston is back healthy again after missing much of the season last year.
Yeah, a really good football players, really good on their defensive line, really good at the linebacker level, and a young playmaking secondary. And, those guys, they just make a ton of plays. And in the game the other night against Denver, 5 takeaways in the ball game had everything to do with their ability to rush and cover. And they got playmakers all over the place, and Coach Sutton's as good a coach as there is in the league.
Special teams, Mike Nugent comes through in less than ideal conditions. Not only him, but also Chris Jones and LP. Redskins were having some difficulties with the snap on some of those field goals, but to get 4 field goals in his debut at the Cowboys, pretty significant.
Yeah, the operation was great. LP is as good as it gets, and Chris Jones is so good at handling the ball and giving the kicker a really good environment to kick in. And, Mike has been around for a long time. He's kicked a lot of field goals in this league, but it was challenging. It wasn't easy. We put him out there at a 49-yarder to start. He misses it, and then he just doesn't blink. He just responds the right way. Had 4 more chances, hit each of those right down the middle. Very good on his PATs, very good on his kickoffs, and his blood pressure was like this the whole day. And, a veteran guy like that who's as talented as he is, certainly helping our football team.
All right, we wrap up the Jason Garrett Show with our unsung star in just a moment. Final couple of minutes here of the Jason Garrett Show. Real quick, before we get to the unsung star, a former Cowboys quarterback is calling the game for CBS. Tony Romo, have you had a chance to check out his work?
I haven't seen much. What I've seen has been fantastic. People have been asking me, do you think Tony was going to be good at this? And, if you think about it, he's a really smart guy. He loves football. He loves talking about football. He's got a great personality. He's as charming as can be. And, it didn't surprise me one bit when you put it all together. Certainly there's a learning curve, but, he's a natural, and he's doing a great job. It'll be good to see him this week.
And he's getting some rave reviews. All right, the unsung star. With those weather conditions in Washington last week, I'm giving it to the entire equipment staff, headed up by the equipment director, Mike McCord, equipment manager, Bucky Buchanan.
Yeah, those guys just do an incredible job. They do an incredible job day in and day out, creating a great environment for our football players and for our football coaches to do their jobs. And, when they get challenged like that, they don't even blink. I mean, it's like, okay, we got all the different cleats for every guy on the team. They got so many different options. They got jackets, they got towels, they got all the stuff that you need. And they're always like 10 steps ahead of you. And, I think it goes to, how much they care about this football team and the job they want to do for everybody, and it shows up. And they made a huge difference in the ball game. And you can't let equipment beat you. You can't let conditions beat you. And it's easy for me to say that as a coach, but you need to have guys back you up, and they just did a heck of a job for us.
And you talk about veteran experience. Both those guys have been with the organization for 25 or more years. Jason, we appreciate it. Good luck against the Chiefs.
Thanks, Bill.
And we will see you again next week here on The Jason Garrett Show.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Susan G. Komen, reminding you that early detection saves lives. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' films and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.